Welcome, everybody, to this week's webinar on AI agents on campus. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone from whichever part of the world you're joining in. I'm delighted to kickstart this very, very important session on AI agents on campus, especially as the summer break kicks in. It's a great time for universities to start relooking about a lot of their internal functionalities and try to automate most of them. Higher education institutions right now are under immense pressure to do more with less. They have to serve increasingly diverse set of student populations, and they also have to manage their funding constraints and, of course, the rapidly changing digital expectations. Now, unfortunately, traditional approaches to student services, academic and administration, institutional operations are not being sustainable enough. And that's why embracing agentic AI is no longer optional, but it is essential. And this is where Supervity Agentic AI is introducing autonomous digital AI agents that can make decisions, that can take actions across systems, and continuously learn from context. And these kind of breakthroughs will empower universities and colleges to deliver faster, give more personalized experience to their students while freeing up faculty and, most importantly, administrative grunt work and focus actually on what really matters, which is teaching, mentoring, and nation building. And to have a discussion around it, to demonstrate certain key use cases, we have two of the brilliant brains, which I know. I have Aaron Mangani, who is the head of growth here at Supervity, along with we have Brett Fraser, a great friend and an executive vice president of technical services at NSS. So Aaron, over to you to kick this off and enlighten the world about how AI agents are truly, truly going to change the way universities function across students, administrative machinery, and everything in between.
Awesome. Can everybody hear me? Good morning, good evening, as Omkar said. Thank you, Omkar, for that wonderful introduction. Brett, great to see you again. I know we are not oceans apart, but we are states apart. It's always good to see your face. Thank you so much for joining me today on this webinar to discuss AI agents in universities and higher education. And let's just start off right off the bat, Brett. Where do you see AI agents really driving value in colleges and universities?
Thanks for asking, Aaron. Omkar, team, thanks for having me here again today. It's interesting because we've talked about this multiple times over the last 6 months. What are we doing and why do universities and college need something like this? 4 areas rise to the top from our conversations, from what I've been reading, from what I've been hearing from universities themselves. First and foremost is student services, right? Agentic AI, it delivers faster, more personalized support to the students by handling these tasks such as admissions, financial aid, and advising, 3 of the core cornerstones for any student. If the student has support in those areas, they're going to be successful. And then secondarily, faculty and staff enablement, just like Omkar said. These AI-powered assistants can take over repetitive administrative work. The agents allow educators and staff to focus on teaching and university priorities. And then third, well, it's always data, right? Data-driven decision-making. It's no longer if, then, and, or else. It's no longer us trying to make a guess or guesstimating. These intelligent AI agents continually monitor systems, data sources, insights, and take action to help leaders make proactive, informed decisions. We can rely on our AI brethren to help us determine yes or no. And then lastly, what we've been touting for the past 15 years, low code, no code innovation. All right, but tell me more. Well, with these easy to use Supervity based agentic AI tools, universities and colleges can build and deploy their own agents without really needing deep technical expertise. Make sense?
That makes a lot of sense to me, Brett. And maybe one question here, because you may get this a lot.
Mhm.
I'm sure the world is not, new to the term AI agents anymore. It's very common. Are you seeing any, should we demystify what agents are for a second versus something like an AI chatbot or something like a basic LLM? Because everyone everywhere thinks something different when you hear the term AI and then AI agents. Maybe if you can give me a second, I can share exactly what we're doing from an AI agent perspective and not from, an AI chatbot or a individual co-pilot, which are pretty common today, right?
Yeah,
So,
please.
um, so basically, AI agents are very simple. As Brett is exactly as you said, these are enterprise agency high level workers, or the next step of RPA, right? And really, that's where the intelligence comes in. An agent can connect to different systems, can understand all different types of data, unstructured data, can pull it in from any source, from any area, and then given a task, given a goal. I'll give an example: transcript processing, right? We need an agent to ingest all of the transcripts coming in and basically make decisions. Or is this student eligible? Is this a real transcript from a real university or a real high school? And then based off of all these different protocols is how you would train somebody today in a university setting to manage transcripts. An agent can handle entirely, right? And so that's really a key difference between an agent that can think, scale, act inside any application versus an individual co-pilot, right? That may be, still very beneficial, right? Help me write my emails, analyze these sort of documents, helps you on a personal productivity level. But where we're coming from today with enterprise agents is something that that basically drives a whole agency goal. So maybe Brett, I know that's kind of a. Have you been seeing any major use cases today? Maybe if it's around back office for shared services, or maybe for transcript processing, or can you just share a couple of high level maybe examples if you don't mind?
Absolutely. My goodness, transcript management, first and foremost. The interesting thing about it is I have a transcript and it's totally different than yours because we've gone through different career paths, different studies, different degree plans. But the interesting thing is that speaks to unstructured data. Yes, the transcript will contain GPA, student information, course specifics, but if they're all different, how do you deal with that? You went to school, I think, in Texas. I went in Texas, but we've got two different transcripts. Now, think and compound that across 15,000 students and new enrollees between 2,000 to 5,000 every semester for a school that size. Wow, that's a lot of different data pieces. Well, of course, optical character recognition, one of those things we'll put on the sticky note, leveraging capabilities to capture content from that transcript with some sort of data analysis, comparing values, that's needed as well. So transcript management, I'm hearing nonstop. There's not, well, I should say, there are off the shelf basic transcript management tools, but they're not the depth of what we're able to do within weeks, right? So definitely transcript. Of course, there's always the back office things, invoice processing, bank reconciliations,
Right.
purchase order handling, all the stuff that any entity has, any corporation that's there. Well, so does higher ed.
Right.
Mostly what I hear is administrative support within the university or student services. Those are the biggest two areas where higher ed's looking for us to help.
And I think you've nailed it, right? Every enterprise today and university has those shared services problems, but mainly focusing on the student services side, right? Today we're seeing use cases for agents that can help with student enrollment, student guidance, right? Everything. We have even a member enrollment agent that multilingual, that will basically drive the entire enrollment process. Alleviate a lot of that customer support or student support issues that come up, and basically take some of that bandwidth, give some of that bandwidth back to the the student member enrollment team at the university. We're seeing things like financial aid agents, right? Those can basically help guide students on which financial aid package is right for them at that university. And on the flip side, the finance team at the university can use these agents to make their decisions run by faster, right? Or whatever the exact use case is. I think the point is that with what Supervity does today, and of course in partnership with NSS, is there are a plethora, big word, university word, we're coming in here. There's definitely a number of different use cases that are all completely customizable. We've seen, just personally, Brett, we've seen different school systems, even public school systems that, right below higher education, they say, hey, we're having trouble with student transcripts inside our different ERP systems. Can an agent basically help solve this process? And even though it's slightly custom, absolutely, an agent can be deployed in weeks, right? The deployment time has been cut down from months, maybe quarters, right, to now weeks. And maybe, Brett, what have you been seeing from the deployment side on timing and ease of use? Or if you can share some information around that, that'd be great.
I can appreciate the insight, right? So from a Supervity perspective, it's so easy to use, no problem, just click a couple buttons. Aaron, I got to be honest, it's not as easy as you hope, right? It still takes that human element to plan, to strategize, to figure out, okay, just because we say transcript management, well, what does that mean? Just because we're saying administrative support, how do we do that? It still takes a large amount of what do you do? How do you do it? How many humans are involved? What do those humans do? So we can get that kind of information out. Now, happy to say NSS has an assessment methodology, as does Supervity. And when we combine those efforts, we get those answers faster. Something that experience and expertise has helped us with manually in the past, now we can just run a general discovery. It's not just let's sit down, talk it out, map it out. Supervity has the ability to just say, click a button, let me record what you do, and now we'll build the flow. Interesting thing, and I hope you're going to show the task prompt capabilities in the future. But what you're alluding to in the ease is we don't have to be Python programmers anymore.
Oh, not at all.
Now these agentic AI platforms have the programming baked into them. We just have to show up and tell it what it needs to know, where it needs to find data, how it needs to handle that data, and what our input and output should be through natural spoken language. Yep. And the platform builds it with us, for us, and at our direction. Right?
I think, Brett, that's the beautiful. There's a lot of beautiful things out there. This is one of the beautiful things. Is you don't have to today, right? Deploying agents, you people, we become a little bit lazier at our whole society with kind of the world of AI. People want answers, solutions to their problems, right? And they may not want to spend a lot of time to get that set up. And that's exactly where agents come in. We're not even asking university to go and create their own agents. They can, of course, they want, and it's just basic English of telling the agent what you need to do at a high level. But we're also coming in with these agents that are pre-built, ready to be deployed. Just takes a little bit of fine tuning and customization. So that's really the speed. You can, every university can get a quick win immediately. The hardest part about this, what I've seen, is just determining, what is the use case to start with. And we've seen that both enterprises and universities always have a running list. And my advice is get a quick win in first. Some agents can do very complex things. We have agents that are taking over some of the most robust RPA kind of services today, and driving an intelligence to it. But setting up an agent like student services, right? Student enrollment, where a student can go in and basically get guided on how to do all of their enrollment processing, or even within the existing university website, right, where students need to access, and maybe they're getting having some issues there. An agent can help take care of L1 tickets. There's just so many different possibilities. That leads me to my next question, Brett. We've jumped from grammar using the word Dora to philosophy. So the question is, why did we get here? Why, what is this a natural, evolution from RPA to agents, or what, why are we here in the first place?
Well, I'm here to spend time with you and Omkar. That's one of my greatest things each day. But no, here's something interesting. You mentioned that there are pre-built agents, right? I live in Tampa and it's hot. I know my AC is going to go out. The big difference between what we're doing now with AI agents compared to what we were doing yesterday with RPA was when I have to build an automation, I could use reusable components to build a bigger solution to save me a little bit of time. But in essence, I was starting over every single time. Meaning, when I call the AC repair place and they send somebody, he shows up at my house and then he starts training on how to do AC repair. Wait a minute. I thought you would send somebody who's already trained, skilled, with expertise, ready to do the job perfectly. Right. That's what you're offering now. That's where we've come with this technology. So how did we get here? Out of just sheer need. It wasn't the laziness of humans. We simply stepped up and said, look what we can do with this technology. But what if we turn it up to an 11 and allow it to figure out how it's supposed to do what it's supposed to do? It just needs prompting from us. Fix my AC. That way I'm not sweaty all the time.
It's almost like it went to university and grew smarter, got a bigger brain.
Certificate and diploma.
I'm on fire today at didn't, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you a question, right?
Please.
We talked about student services, transcript management, financial aid, and all that stuff. Let's talk about the other side of the coin. Faculty and staff. We mentioned that at the very first in the opening. How can agentic AI and true digital assistants help faculty and staff members for higher ed?
Absolutely. And this is where it comes down to a day-to-day basis, right? So going back to agents that can manage, manage personal emails, manage personal customer service, manage customer service isn't the right word, but basically taking care of those minute tasks, right? You can have an agent managing your inbox, giving you the most important action items needed to be done. Maybe every time a new student comes into emails an advisor, an agent automatically kicks off with the ability to take that email, that request from that student, and give the advisor a heads up saying, hey, this is what this student is talking about. Let me go in and check some background history and formulate an advisor checklist or an advisor pre-roll, right? So whatever the advisor would be doing for that whole process, an agent can help kickstart that, right? You can have agents even communicate directly with human self, right, and have a personal 24/7 assistant in that sense. I think Brett, what really I'm seeing AI agents be good for, and this is just from the market today, right? The use cases coming in today. It's a lot around wherever there is a lot of unstructured data, thousands of documents, there's so much processing, so much manual work to be done. Maybe it needs to be extracted, entered in different systems. You need to check agents need to check for discrepancies. There's a lot of reconciliation use cases today. And it's not just in higher education. In a lot of other verticals that Supervity operates in, reconciliation is becoming an amazing use case for agents to handle, and they can do it flawlessly, right, and seamlessly. Brett, before, and maybe you have another good point on the faculty side.
Absolutely.
If you want to share that, and then I have a quick, follow up for you as well.
Of course. I was going to agree with you. Enablement of faculty and staff, as you're mentioning, also benefits from the students. In that example you gave, student needs a thing and contacts an advisor. Advisor receives that contact and says, schedule a system or schedule some time to talk. Student takes action, schedules some time, advisor's there, So what do you need? And the student's like, but this whole back and forth, now student needs a thing. All these background processes happen.
Right.
Advisor receives not just the request, but a profile of why they asked. Here's everything we know so far, making them extremely knowledgeable before they've even said, sure, let's talk about it. So we're going light years ahead of where we were. As you mentioned, it's all based on data-driven decision making. But instead of waiting for the reactive response to determine what do they need, what do I have, how do I get it, what do they get, it's all done beforehand. So you show up ready to go finally. Where were you going? What did you want to chat next about?
There's so many. I mean, and thank you, Brett. There's a lot of discussion today around the decision making of an agent, right? Intelligent decisions. That's the biggest thing. Agents can make decisions.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, when we want, how do we know an agent is making a right decision? What if we want a human to step in and actually make that decision? And it's very important, right? So every agent today has human in the loop capabilities, right? So maybe I'll go to a shared services example because this has been popping up a lot. We have an agent that has flagged a discrepancy between a supplier invoice and the contract of what was supposed to be given by this, just general procurement use case here, right? Maybe the discrepancy was 8% over, and there was a clause in the contract that gives a variance of, hey, if it's between 6% to 10%, it should be okay. Well, you can have the agent actually say, well, I found an 8% difference. Let me go ahead and kick this off as a notification to someone on an actual human who's managing this on a day-to-day, and show them all this information, right? And show them, hey, this is where I found the discrepancy. This is the vendor. Not to say that vendors are bad. Vendors are great. But I'm just saying these things happen from time to time. That human can make a decision. Yes, please proceed with an email that will notify the vendor there is a discrepancy. Whatever the downstream action is, an agent can take care of. We just need a human you can have a human come in and help make a decision from that side. So it's not like you're completely giving the agents ability to just act on their own. There's guardrails in place, right? We're telling agents exactly what they can and cannot do in a given situation. It's all custom. It's all fine tuned. The technology has advanced to such a high level. And Brett, where do you see, adoption wise, where do you see some of these universities, maybe the first couple of use cases, where do you see that as? And then maybe in 2 years from now, 3 years from now, technology is advancing so fast, where do you see that going?
Good question. Humans are as humans do, they say. Silly humans. It's trust and bias that you were talking about. Humans lack that immediately. We always try to figure out, what are they trying to get over on us? AI agents just simply don't. They're not programmed to work around or figure a sneaky way. That's what we're really good at. For the future, though, I see data as being the driving force. It has been for the past 20, 30 years. I remember IBM's big data and all that good fun stuff to get us to where now it's just essential. Mm-hmm. It's like the water flowing through pipes. What's the point of having pipes if water's not going to flow through them? So I know that in the very near future, we are seeing population changes in certain areas where people flocked to Pennsylvania. Now they're not. I saw last week, University of Pennsylvania shutting down a third of its campuses. I asked why, and they said the population's decreasing. People are moving to Florida and elsewhere, like California, Mr. Mangani. And universities aren't seeing the same level of support. Now, go figure, international students having difficulties transferring in with no transcript management, instantaneously saying, you know what, it's going to take a couple weeks for us to figure this out. It has to be done. Like Omkar said earlier, it's essential now. Mm-hmm. You can't college like you did in the 60s and 70s. Now it's the 2025s. Those same systems, those same mentalities, those are all gone. Now we got this intermediary system of, well, what's the future got in store? I can still see, as we started this session, student services, faculty services.
Mhm.
Somewhere in the middle, if there's an AI engine that
Mm-hmm.
can bridge that gap and say, students will help you, and at the same time, we're going to help the people that help you. Well, that's the core. Just like in the movie Tron, where the master controller controlled the entire building, that's kind of what's happening now. But we're building in trust and we're building in tools to remove the bias. Like you mentioned, human in the loop. Keep a human in the loop there.
Brett, this should have been the first thing that we mentioned off the bat, to like the security of these agents, right? So today, Supervity, we have that trust factor working with over 50 of the most sensitive organizations in the world, government systems, large banks, retail, manufacturing. If I can just give a moment, right? Every Supervity AI agent today, HIPAA compliant, SOC 2 Type 2 compliant, ISO 27001 compliant, FedRAMP compliant. We're building in that trust to show that agents aren't right. We're not creating an agent to train on your data and do all these crazy things with it. No, agents are just operating given a goal, right? They're just operating on the information they have to drive that complete task forward. And I think that's a critical thing, because it's important exactly if you're leveraging an AI solution, not just a co-pilot, but anything else, what's happening with that data, right? It's very sensitive topic, and Supervity has that security compliances in place to show exactly. Even an agent today, right? When, let's say, we introduce I'll go back to transcript processing or invoice processing. On the back end side, you can see at any time an agent, when it was triggered, what information it looked on, that train of thought reasoning. It's all being audited and logged, so you know exactly how something is acting. And that's the biggest thing. I wouldn't anticipate any university, any agency today to implement something that they didn't have full, complete eyes on, right? Auditability to make sure that that the agent is working properly. So that's been our fundamental focus here, and I think a reason why Supervity has been excelling, over the last 6 to 8 months. Security is important, right? So, thank you.
In addition, like you mentioned, Supervity AI agents don't just act; they think, and then you can ask them, "Why were you thinking that?" Exactly. And they give you the answer. It's this back and forth. It's amazing. The AI agents monitor data streams across systems, not just this. No more swivel chair. It sees. It looks for anomalies. It initiates workflows, and it optimizes and corrects as it goes. Students don't do that. Not from one semester to another. And colleges don't do that from one course year to another course year. So really what we're talking about is a new level of operational intelligence.
Exactly.
For higher education, right?
Absolutely. Maybe, Brett, we're nearing the 30-minute mark, and we'll just go a couple minutes over. But let's break it down a little, even more simply. If a university is interested, right, and there's obviously they may have some level of ideas of what agents are and what they want to do, or they have no, on the flip side, if they have no idea, they just are wanting to explore. What does that look like? Who should they reach out to? You, Brett? Should they reach out to me? What would be that process? And then once it's identified, what can you share a little bit of how you think that would get deployed in the university setting for a POC, for a quick one? You can give your thought. I'll give my thought. That's why we're on.
Sir. Point counterpoint. Here we go. So I highly recommend finding a trusted partner that a university, college, or higher education institute can lean on. As we mentioned earlier, education is there to help students, to teach, and to provide them some path forward towards a career, a job, or a level of knowledge. Do they need to build their own solutions? Probably not. Let experts help you do this. It gets faster, it gets deployed faster. You have Big Brother to lean on and go, hey, I kind of want to ask a simple question. I haven't Googled it yet. Well, we're there to help. So if you need NSS to help, I'm B. Frazier at nssfed.com. Always got my cell on me. Go to nssfed.com. Look at our phone numbers at the bottom. Just give me a call. We'll be there. I work extremely closely with the Supervity team to make sure that you have what you need. And at the same time, doing this for almost 20 years, I've learned a lot of the lessons that we're now seeing as standard stumbling blocks. For us, we've got a ladder. You can climb over those. I'll help you. I'll hold your hand and walk you through it. Supervity has a different model. Yes, you can work directly. You're going to do a lot of the work yourself in planning and strategy and things like that. There could be stumbling blocks, but Supervity will help you there as well. Aaron, what's normal there on the commercial side? I'm focused on public sector, so my model works very well in Fed and SLED. What do you see in commercial?
No, it's actually both, right? Today we have Supervity has customers that are doing this on their own, right? And even from the perspective of taking agents, right? Supervity is customizing, fine tuning them, deploying them to that customer, and then the customer is basically seeing the value of an agent, immediately getting that problem solved, that efficiency gain, whatever that KPI is. And we're seeing centers of excellence is being developed, right? So that now you don't want to build technical debt on technologies that are not intelligent, because frankly, this is where the whole world is moving to, right? It's moving towards agents, moving towards smart technologies. You also don't want to get vendor locked. That's a critical thing when you sign up. That's actually one of the most important things: is be cognizant of who you're signing up with, right? If it you want to make sure that the technologies you implement, especially on agents, can work with other sets of solutions and technologies too. Because what's the point of having a smart, intelligent agent if you're not able to work with any of the other technologies that you use today? That's a strong suit of Supervity, is when there's zero vendor lock. Our agents can work with any other type of technology, any other type of agents, you name it. We're doing that today. But majority, Brett, sorry for jumping around but most of our customers today are using the partners to get these agents in place and help manage, because it basically is Big Brother. They're trusting a credible source in that specific domain to guide and say, this is exactly what agents can do. This is how you can deploy it. This is how it can be managed. This is the cost. This is the KPI, the efficiencies you'll gain, whatever that may be. These are other use cases you can do, and it works swimmingly. As I mentioned, people today are getting a little bit lazier too, right? And in a great way. I have a problem. There's a lot more complex things I need to take care of. Can an AI agent help me solve this problem? And if so, show me the win. Let's get it in for a POC and then move on to deployment. So
Aaron, do you got time for one more quick question? It comes from the comments. I'm reading this.
Sure,
Jaya already. He says, I hardly believe it's an era of building something from pre-existing stuff, but let's define stuff now. So, geez, we've been working together 6 months now, I think, somewhere in there, right? And when we first started, there was a slide and it said Supervity has 80 plus agents deployed. And I thought, wow.
Yes.
So from that number 6 months ago, I'm assuming it's much, much higher number of agents that are deployed. What are some of the pre-existing end-to-end, fully functional, non-stumbling, exception handling, output driving, results generating AI agents ready to go today?
So many things.
Just
Brett.
top five. Give me top 5, top 10.
Top 5. I would say everything in the financial space. Financial agents are very popular, right? AP, AR, compliancy, auditing, major agents. Procurement agents are very big in demand, right? Making sure that your vendor contracts are are good. There's no redundancy. Doing a vendor scoring analysis, and then also having an agent manage the whole procurement life cycle from source to contract and procure to pay. HR agents, very, very big. And I'll make a comment here. An agent may appear there's a front end and a back end. On the back end, the agent is working, it has all of the knowledge. It's working 24/7. It's amazing, right? The front end could be anything. The front end may look like a chatbot if it's an agent that's triggered by something specific. That doesn't mean the agent is a chatbot itself, right? It's
that's a single component.
It's a single
all those capabilities, right?
A lot of our agents are working unattended, right? They're working 24/7, and or getting, when there's a trigger coming in, whatever it may be, an agent is working and processing on that. We have IT help desk agents taking care of all the L1 and L2 tasks, right? Doing all the, making sure that before something complex, if it gets to that IT team, if it's something a little bit more easy and can get taken care of, an agent can take care of that. Voice agents, right? Inbound, outbound, post-task calling, voice analytics. It's really all over the place. And also to the extent of there's pre-built things, right? And Jay Paul, you had a great comment. We're customizing, right? We're also fine tuning. Just because something is built for one customer today, that exact same agent won't fit, 100% into the next customer. It needs a little bit of fine tuning. For us, because we have that pre-built agent template already built, we know that process, we know the challenges that come with it. That fine tuning, that customization takes a very short amount of time, weeks, right? And can get something deployed. Brett, there's also the idea of just understanding AI agent capabilities. What can an AI agent do? Email parsing, OCR, connecting into different systems, making decisions. We're building out core capability sheet. There's probably 35 things on that. When people today see, hey, this is the power of an agent, I have a specific niche problem in my company and my vertical. Can we build an agent to do that? Absolutely. And for us, that becomes, if it's something that is, we imagine being more commonplace, that problem being commonplace for other sort of customers in the same area, we quickly template that, right? And then becomes another pre-built agent. So today, we do have 80 plus AI agents in the space. We're working in 7 different countries. Supervity is just, background, headquartered out of both DC, do a lot of work with the government, also San Francisco, where I'm at, lovely Mountain View in the morning. We are here. The technology is being implemented. It's being used today. My recommendation is if you have some thoughts, questions, anything, right? Use cases, please reach out to Brett. Please reach out to me. We'd be happy to show you very specific demos or talk through the use case and show how it can be deployed. We can deploy agents in your own environment. We can deploy agents on-prem. We can keep agents in Supervity's environment. There's a complete flexibility option with all of that. So did that answer the question, Brett?
Yes, sir, it
did. Did I pass my
perfect
thesis?
I'm happy to see the scale and growth and some of the things you mentioned, weeks, not months. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's taken some of the longest months at time to deploy what I now consider some of the simplest solutions from yesteryear. Now here we are, all that lessons learned and difficulties built into the platform already dealt with.
I would love to show the platform off. Please reach out. We'll create an agent. We'll, because we see a lot today of when we're doing this in person, when it's on site, doing an agent-thon, if you will, creating these agents, showing them how you can, again, not a co-pilot, an enterprise-based agent and a whole operations agent. When you can create these in near real time, there's a lot of exciting things coming. And Brett, I'm keen to fly out. I love SFO. It's a great airport.
You get all the points now.
Yep. Brett, is there anything else maybe before we sign off?
No. Do you want me to do the sign off? I'm happy to.
Do the sign off, please.
All right. Well, first and foremost, Many, many gracious thanks to Aaron, Omkar, the Supervity team, and all of our audience members and higher education institutes that have joined us today, and all of our friends out there. Thanks for joining us today to chat more about agentic AI and higher education. The future of higher education, it hinges on a university's ability to be agile and student-centered. And agentic AI is the engine driving that transformation. As we all kind of know, Captain Obvious, as institutions face growing demands with now fewer resources, the cost of inaction is rising through disengaged students, overworked staff, and missed opportunities for impact. If you're not innovating, they are. So with Supervity's agentic AI platform, colleges and universities aren't just automating tasks. They're unleashing a new generation of intelligent, autonomous agents that act, learn, and evolve, just like an employee. These agents become tireless digital teammates. They reshape everything, from student services to institutional planning. The results can be that a campus runs smarter, serves better, adapts faster, where students feel supported, staff feels empowered, and leadership has the insight to drive bold change. Supervity isn't just solving today's problems. Agentic AI is building tomorrow's higher education infrastructure, where intelligence is embedded, innovation is continuous, and our possibilities are limitless. So Aaron, Omkar, audience, and everybody else, thanks for your time today. Let us know if there's questions. Please reach out. We're always happy to talk, chat, demo, walk you through what's possible.
Mr. Frazier, it's always good talking to you. In fact, I'll probably be calling you in 4 hours or so, but
Give me a call.
Yeah. Thank you guys again for joining. Please reach out to Brett. Please reach out to me. We're excited to show you exactly specific demos Brett said it and get this going. So thank you all.
Thanks again. Bye.
Bye.